Today, we have a very important update that we need to get to, simply because there are multiple changes happening to Social Security, one of which has millions of people receiving retroactive payments. This could mean you could actually receive a payment of more than $5,000. This is a massive increase, and we're also seeing new increases go into effect this month, where many people are already saying they're seeing these payments hit their bank accounts and they are glad they're coming at this time. So I'm going to break all this down, talk about what President Trump just signed in an executive order. So we'll touch on that as well. And we're going to hit a little bit on what former President Joe Biden said just last night as well. So make sure you stick around and watch this entire video, and I'll explain exactly what is going on. But first, before I do, all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So first off, let's get to some of the increases. And before I do that, I do want to come out and say that we have been talking about Social Security and a recession and what the Trump administration is doing and what inflation could potentially do. But what you need to keep in mind is that if we continue to see inflation go up, so what's going on with these tariffs, what that means is prices are going to be more today, but in return, people on Social Security could see their cost of living adjustment slowly tick up as a result. Again, this is both good news, bad news, but it is the news for today. Look at this. It says Social Security payments of up to $5,100 going out soon. It says these changes come from the Social Security Fairness Act, which was signed by President Biden back in December. It says most adjustments have been made by SSA as of March 28th. You may have received a letter in the mail from the Social Security Administration stating what your adjusted balance or what your adjusted monthly benefit is going to be. If you receive that letter, make sure you keep that handy. Or if you looked online, make sure you're looking at the number that they're telling you. And then make sure you cross-check that with the amount of money that they send, because there could be a difference. All right? So maybe the increase that you just received, maybe it's, let's say, $3,000 total, okay? And maybe you send you a check of $8,000. Just understand, some of that is going to be a retroactive payment. Other people could see this. I have heard that this is likely going to happen, so just be prepared that you may see that your monthly benefit total could be like $3,000. However, instead of $3,000, you get less, let's say $2,800. The problem there is that it just didn't go into effect yet, but they still owe you that money. Okay, so you might have to call the Social Security Administration to ensure that if you were supposed to get X amount, that is the exact amount that you get. You get nothing more and nothing less. I want to read a little bit of this to you though. Okay, keep in mind these payments from the Social Security Fairness Act, they're going out because of what Congress did. And I'll show you this really quick. Okay. It says, according to the Social Security Fairness Act, those whose benefits were affected by the WEP and GPO provisions will see their monthly benefits increase. This is estimated to be about 3.2 million people are going to see an increase as a result. Now, one of the issues with this, and I want to be very clear on this because you're probably thinking, well, if I'm not one of those people that receive an increase, does this impact me at all? And it does, because more money is going out. The same amount of money is coming in, but more money is going out to pay all these people. 3.2 million people to be exact. They're estimating that we are going to see about a $20 billion deficit per year as a result of this one change. That's $200 billion over the next 10 years that we are going to be doling out. The problem is that pushes Social Security even closer to that insolvency date. So that's one thing you need to know about that. Now, I want to show this to you. Okay, you probably already know this, but let's go over the April Social Security dates. It says Wednesday, April 9th. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th, you'll get your payment on the 9th. If you're born between the 11th and the 20th, you get your payment on the 16th, which is today. And born between, or birthday between the 21st and 31st, you get your payment on April 23rd, which is next week. So that is what we know regarding the increases. Now I want to talk to you about a big change. Look at this. It says Trump give update on Social Security. Here's who's impacted. I want to read this to you because, again, this could be you. It says right here, President Donald Trump signed a memorandum aimed at curbing Social Security benefits for individuals whose without legal status in the United States. Okay. He signed this yesterday on April 15th. It expands the Social Security Fraud Protection Program to at least 50 U.S. attorneys' offices and establish a Medicare and Medicaid fraud prosecution program in 15 U.S. attorney offices. It says why it matters. The move comes as former President Joe Biden is slated to deliver a keynote address Tuesday night. He did that last night, and I want to show this to you. Look at this. It says Biden returns to the podium for first time to slam Trump's Social Security plans. Wreck it so they could rob it. That's what he's saying. Now, here's what I can tell you. Nobody wants to see Social Security go under. Even President Trump does not want to see Social Security go under. And there's a reason why. What we know is that 70 plus million Americans receive Social Security payments every single month. We pay out $1.6 trillion in payments every single year. That is a massive amount of money that if that money is not going out to those people that absolutely need it, and according to the former Social Security Commissioner, he is saying that about 20 million Americans would be technically poor. They'd be under the federal poverty level if we did not send out these checks. So right there, if we are not sending out checks to the 70 million people that need it, and again, some say there's less than 1% of those are fraudulent, but if we don't send out the money to roughly 70 million people, then we are going to see housing pretty much crash. We are going to see the local economy for many states is going to simply crumble, especially those that have a higher amount of people that are retired. Those cities, those states are going to feel the impacts. Okay, I want to read you what President Biden said though. It says, seriously, people are now genuinely concerned for the first time in history, for the first time and only time in history, that Social Security benefits may be delayed or interrupted. I'm going to jump in there. When he is talking about delays, yes, we could see delays, and honestly, that's going to be terrible. But as far as interrupted, if we don't see a reform to Social Security, which I've been talking about for several years, if we don't see this, Social Security is going to become insolvent in the next 8 years, 8 to 9 years. This means instead of 100% of your benefits, let's say you get a $2,000 monthly benefit. Instead of getting that $2,000 come 2035, no, you're going to receive about 80% of that. Meaning instead of $2,000, you're going to get $1,600. You're going to lose $400 instantly. And I can tell you right now, millions of Americans are not going to be able to afford that. Millions of Americans will not be able to survive. They won't have medication. They won't have food. They won't have a place to live. They're going to have nothing because they cannot afford it. That's a huge problem. Look at this. It says, in the 90 years since Franklin Roosevelt created the Social Security system, people have always gotten their Social Security checks. They've gotten them during wartime, during recessions, during the pandemic. No matter what, they got them. But now, for the first time ever, that might change. It would be a calamity for millions of families, millions of people. Yeah. It would be devastating. But again, what President Trump just signed the other day, okay, he is going to pretty much go and seek out those that are receiving fraudulent payments. And I've said this before. Okay, I don't agree with everything that President Trump does. I didn't agree with everything that President Biden did. But here's what I can tell you. In order to find the fraud, in order to fix the United States government, because it is very large, there's going to be some pain points. And one of the pain points is going to be with Social Security as well. We're already seeing, in order to make Social Security more efficient, Reducing staff means you call into the Social Security Administration, there's a very good chance you don't talk to anybody. You call in for days on ends and don't talk to a single person. Okay? You go into the office to try to make an appointment, you will likely get an appointment months in advance, months later. Okay? Because there's so many people trying to get an appointment right now. Because we are seeing offices close, people are getting laid off. That means it's becoming less efficient. But as the Department of Government Efficiency have said, even President Trump himself, weeks back, is that there's going to be pain. We know that, we expect that. But once we get through the pain, once we can figure out where the fraud is, and if people will point out the fraud, it will speed things up entirely. But once we get through that, then, and only then, things will be better. We'll have money to invest into the Social Security Administration. We will become more efficient. We'll start using AI, technology, in order to speed up your call, in order to have more people serviced in the Social Security Administration offices. Again, that will be great once we get there, but we're not there yet. So we're going to see what happens, but what President Trump has been doing, okay, and I'm going to read this one to you really quick. Here we go. This is what we know regarding President Trump's memorandum from yesterday. It says, Caroline Leavitt said that the memorandum would require the Social Security Office of the Inspector General to investigate earning reports for individuals aged 100 or older with mismatched Social Security records to combat identity theft. Here's what I can tell you. Based off of what I have been reading, okay? And again, we don't know for sure, but this is likely the stepping stone to that next level. If they are going to investigate earnings report for individuals aged 100 or older with mismatched Social Security records to combat identity theft, eventually this number is going to come down, where they are going to be instructed to investigate people 100 years of age or older, but eventually once they do that, then they'll come down to age 90, to age 80, to age 70. You get the picture. And they'll investigate fraud there. So we're going to see what happens. All I can tell you right now is this is exactly what we've seen in the past from President Trump and the Trump administration, is they do one thing, okay? They figure it out. They get through all the pain points. They figure out how to make sure it works, to the best of their ability, and then they continue on. So we'll see what happens. Just be prepared that right now, yes, retroactive payments are coming to Social Security recipients. This is coming from, last year? So it's a substantial amount of money that many people are going to get. That's great for them. The concern is it's just going to speed up the Social Security insolvency date, which means there's even more people at this time that are discussing potential fixes to Social Security. I addressed this just the other day, and I said there's many changes that are likely going to be made. And we even heard from the former commissioner himself, where he was saying that yes, at this time, in his opinion, he believes Congress is going to keep kicking the can down the road. Eventually, their back will be against the wall and they will fix it then. But we're still years away. So we'll see what happens, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.